what we have to remember is that stress isn't all bad. I worry sometimes that we talk about stress as all bad all the time in the popular press. And actually, it's really normal in the human condition for us to face tough challenges, for us to see the saber-toothed tiger running toward us and have to, run away from it now and then. And there is a beautiful concept of eustress. Eustress is the Goldilocks principle of stress. It's the parabola curve, which is the one you see. It's kind of the lowercase n shape. When we don't have enough stress, that can actually be demotivating. Like, oh, I don't have a reason to get up off the couch or do the next big thing. On the other hand, if we have too much stress, that can also be really debilitating. But there is a just right amount of stress at the top of that lowercase n curve where we feel challenged. We feel stimulated by the challenge. We want to roll up our sleeves. We have enough that keeps us interested and engaged. And so we can think about that for our staff. We can think about that for ourselves. How do we think about that next thing that we want to do? How do we keep ourselves challenged? How do we look for the next thing that we want to learn? And how do we create those conditions for others as well? Here's something to know. As we think about our own stress, there is a very significant spillover factor, and this is for better or for worse. In my work for my PhD, I did some deep analysis of spillover, and the General Social Survey has been conducted since about the 70s. It's a long time. And we've been asking people for a really long time, to what extent does your work spill over into home, and to what extent does home spill over into work? This is not a new question we've been asking ourselves, interestingly enough. And there are very significant majorities of people who say, I have spillover from work to home, I've got spillover from home to work. That can be both good and bad. When you feel great about the work that you're doing, you tend to bring that home. But a lot of people don't realize the opposite is also true. When you feel great about what's going on outside of work, you tend to perceive greater happiness, joy, satisfaction inside of work as well. So we can think about managing stress. We can think about fostering well-being in the big picture, not just in terms of how we create the conditions for great work, but how we also create the conditions for all the things we enjoy doing outside of work. So maybe I go do volunteer work. Maybe I go tutor kids at school. Maybe I volunteer in my church community. Maybe I volunteer in building homes for people or cleaning up trash, you name it, whatever gets you excited. Those things will be really positive for your well-being overall. The other thing to know is that there is a spillover effect in terms of engagement and productivity. And this has been demonstrated through peer evaluated research that's been published in major journals. When we're working side by side with people who are engaged and productive, that tends to spill over to us. So there is real benefit in proximity, and there's real benefit in being intentional about kind of who we're spending time with, and being intentional about the engagement that we bring, because it will have an influence on other people. Here's something else about stress management and about well-being, and that is the concept of dimensionality. I love this. I've been giving deep thought to how central work should be to our identity. And work is absolutely a healthy part of identity, but it's one part of identity. We can become over-identified with our work, and we call that workaholism, or we call that obsession. That can be more overwhelming than it should be. However, dimensionality is the idea that we do lots of things that have meaning for us, and we do lots of things that give us a sense of identity. And when there's overlap in those things, that's also a great opportunity as well. So maybe we are, I don't know, we're in our brand comm department of our organization, and we focus on imagery and branding, but we love to take pictures. And so we do that with our families, and that's kind of our gift to our families, that we're taking pictures. And we do some volunteer work where we're taking pictures for the organization that we volunteer with. And so there's dimensionality because there's an image kind of photo theme to all of that. It's really cool when there's that theme that goes along with all of the ways that we're expressing ourselves. We don't have to have that common red thread. Sometimes a big difference can also be helpful. Like, we have a desk job every day, but we climb mountains in our spare time, or I don't know, we go rock climbing. That degree of dimensionality can also be helpful. But it's useful, I think the overall concept here is the really way that we express meaning, that we express our talents and capabilities in work and in other parts of our life. That is the opportunity for dimensionality.